This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Following the death of several inmates at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, the government looks to acquire a psychiatrist. This much coming from National Security Minister Wayne Munro in an interview with JCN News. You see, back in November, 29-year-old Mikhail Miller was reportedly found dead in a prison cell at B-Docks while serving a 3-month sentence. He is one of 4 deaths to surface at the prison in recent months, the latest being a woman who died from health challenges earlier this month.
We're also looking at building a high medium security prison where for the first time we'll have the ability to pad cells and separate persons who may be the subject of mental challenges.
No timeline was mentioned for that new prison. However, here's what he can tell us about that.
We're looking at if we are able to get a proper agreement, building a 700 to 800 bed high medium security facility that will permit us to house the female prison, most of maximum, medium, and minimum security comfortably within that structure. The implementation of a proper parole and reentry system and moving more to sentences in the community would address the other part of the prison population.
These are part of efforts to improve conditions at the prison following the latest U.S. State Department country report on human rights practices that highlighted poor prison conditions and the mistreatment of migrants in the Bahamas. The report released last year says conditions at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services were harsh because of overcrowding, poor nutrition, inadequate sanitation, poor ventilation, and inadequate medical care. Free National Leader Michael Pintard closed out the party's 3-day convention last Friday with an apology to the Bahamian people. The leader's comments came as the FNM wrapped up the convention following the election of the party's executive board, including Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright, St. Barnabas MP, and former Elizabeth MP Dr. Dwayne Sands as chairman. Mr. Pintard told party supporters that they did not get everything right when they were the administrators of the country.
So some folks are feeling some type of way about us. And so as we celebrate all that we have accomplished, and it has been much. Under Prime Minister Ingram, it has been much. Under Prime Minister Minnis, it has been much. But let us also be clear that we made some decisions that resonate in entirely the wrong way with many, many Bahamians. Some of you sitting in here were left vulnerable in the public service. You had no idea that the PLP would behave in the manner they said they had abandoned. And I want to say, I regret that we made some of those decisions and that you were hurt. And we apologize to every Bahamian who's been hurt by any decision that we have made.
The FNM leader went on to say that he believes that the decisions made came out of a place in their hearts where often they thought the right decision was being made, as he acknowledged that the consequences were real for Bahamians.
And so we don't hold you responsible for us being in opposition. No, you made a decision that you felt was in your interest, that it was to vote against us or to stay home from voting at all. Our job, convention, is to hear and feel the response of the Bahamian people and make a determination that we will make adjustments where adjustments are required.
Also speaking to his vision for the future, newly elected chairman, former Health Minister Dwayne Sands, reiterated the party leader's comments on Friday and says they realize and acknowledge the mistakes that were made during their last stint in office and are ready to make amends.
That we have some apologizing to do, that we have some atonement to make. We're not prepared, we're not afraid to say we're sorry for the things that we did that we could have done differently. Notwithstanding the intentions, there were some people who felt that we could have done things differently or better, that we could have been more responsive to the concerns of people. And we take responsibility for what has happened. And we ask for people to give us another look, another chance. And they will not be disappointed, nor will we let them down. One very simple thing is the method of communication and interaction with the public through their intermediaries, the Fourth Estate. I mean, we as an organization, by and large, did not have the best relationship with media. People felt that. And when you see that type of thing, it is branded sometimes as arrogance, dismissiveness. And the last thing you want to do ever, given the importance of the Fourth Estate in the overall governance of the country, is to ever be perceived as being dismissive of the people's right to know. This new Free National Movement administration values communication with the public, honest, transparent communication with the public. We're not media hogs. We're not about it because we like cameras or microphones, but we believe that people have a right to know.
The Minnis administration was wrong for not reporting spending in its spending for the COVID-19 pandemic. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard says this much at the party's final night of the convention this past Friday, and is now urging the Davis-led administration to report information regarding contracts rewarded since coming into office.
And the Free National Movement did not report as it ought to have all of the COVID spending. When you ask me that question, that's a simple issue. We have an obligation, we should do it. That's simple. We were wrong. We should have done it. No problems. Now you have an obligation to report all the contracts that have been issued since you came to government and that law was enforced. Why are you not reporting? And the brazenness is that we're not reporting, and what you gonna do? It is a pattern of behavior, refusal to comply with the law.
He's referring to the Public Procurement Act, which was enacted in September last year, which requires government to publish the details of approved contracts and procurement activities valued over $25,000 within 60 days following the reward of those contracts. When in opposition, the PLP also criticized the Minnis administration's failure to report the state of its fiscal affairs prior to the general election, which is also in breach of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. The election, however, was called earlier than expected in May of this year. Now, as it relates to the present government's reporting of awarded contracts, Mr. Pintard says this exhibits a pattern of behavior that refuses to comply with the law.
That's why folks can leave quarantine. That's why there can be 3 different versions of a story on the same subject. That's why in finance, 3 separate persons are talking about critical, life-affecting decisions, and the story can't be consistent. So what do you expect rating agencies to say? What do you expect how do you expect the bond market to react? If there is confusion on who should be believed. Is it the Minister of Finance? Is it the Minister of State? Is it the Financial Secretary? It's a pattern of behavior. All we want is straight talk. Let's keep it real.
He also went as far as mentioning the confusion surrounding the holiday carnival last year, whose owners brought equipment into the country and set up shop, only to be denied by health officials in the end.
The carnival came. To date, we have not gotten the full explanation. I believe there are too many critical issues in the country to be bogged down with a carnival. But what is important is to have a clear, transparent answer about how it came, who was responsible, what protocols were not followed. Because it is a carnival with some playthings today. It's an arms shipment or something toxic tomorrow. We have to fix the gaps in the system.
Health officials ultimately rejected carnival operators' application to operate in the country during the holiday season. However, the rejection of the event proved controversial on social media, with many confused about how the operators were allowed to enter the country and set up without securing approval to host the event in the first place. At the time, Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, explained that while the operators were legally able to enter the country and set up, they never had official approval from the Ministry of Health, something he said should have been obtained first. Switching gears, COVID-19 cases continue to trend downwards, with just 27 cases being recorded from Friday, February 25th to Sunday, February 27th. The Ministry of Health recording 25 cases for New Providence and 2 on Grand Bahama. Total cases now stand at 33,135, with 5,931 of them active. 6 cases from New Providence have a history of travel within 14 days. Hospitalizations remain low, with 18 cases hospitalized, 16 considered moderately ill, and 2 in the intensive care unit. No new deaths reported over the weekend. The death toll remains at 771, with 43 deaths under investigation. As the COVID-19 pandemic seems to be loosening its grip on the country and the world at large, more and more social initiatives are being rolled out or relaunched. That said, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture formally announces the return of the Fresh Start program. This youth advancement initiative is aimed at providing skill-based training for young people and was first introduced in 1994. However, in 2020, due to health and safety mandates, the program took a minor hiatus. Minister with responsibility for youth, sports and culture, Mario Boleg, explains why this program is so pivotal.
Well, there are times in life when youngsters like myself and others would have decided not to pay attention in school in our latter days, and then we find ourselves struggling to find employment when we leave school. So the Fresh Start is to give persons between the age of 16 and 25 who would have lost their way a second chance to gain the necessary knowledge and skills that allow them to be employable. And so that's what it's all about. And so this ministry is dedicated $2,500 to each student to ensure that we make sure that we empower the youths to make them productive citizens in this country. They say if we believe in the youths, then we should invest in them. And that's what we're about to do here today. Due to the pandemic, we had to put a cap on the amount of students we allow to go face-to-face. We definitely hoping that things will change in the future and that we'll go back to the amount of students we normally would have in this program.
Minister Boleg also took time to give the students a bit of motivation as they prepare to start this new 16-week journey. Andrew Minus and Raikesh Kulmer say that they are excited to learn and are appreciative for the opportunity.
I'm Andrew Minus. I'm a graduate of BTVI, Bahamas Technical Vocational Institute. As for my reasons joining this program, it was my intent to be able to further my skills, be able to further my education, be able to further my career as a person, make myself more marketable, as the sentiments would have been echoed from Mr. Boleg and from our youth officer. And we just intend to make the most of this program and to maximize our ability to represent the Bahamas as a nation.
Hi, my name is Raikesh Kulmer. I'm appreciative of being a part of the Fresh Start program. It's my first time. And I look forward to learning and developing at the end of the program. I would love to have my own business, cooking business. So I look forward to see what happens.
Program organizer and youth officer at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, Shanda Roberts, says she hopes to see the 40 students currently enrolled work hard to hone the skills the ministry will make available to them and enter the workforce competent, qualified, and confident. Well, that does it for news this evening. Once again, I'm Tyler Simonet, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a good evening, everyone.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.